They used to call him the Great Communicator.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Welcome everyone to Was It Good? My name is Bob, and last night I got to check out the new film Reagan. This is a film about the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, the actor?
The film is based on the book The Crusader, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of Communism, and it stars Dennis Quaid in the lead role. Now, as far as spoilers go, I'm only going to state what's in the trailer, so if you haven't seen the movie, you don't have to worry about any spoilers. Now, if you have seen it, I'd like to know what you thought about it. Why don't you go ahead and share your comments in the comment section below? Let me know what you thought of the film. Did you like the movie? Did you think it was a good biopic? Did you think it was historically accurate? I'd really like to know what you thought. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it. Showcasing his mission to defeat communism, the film follows the life of Ronald Reagan as he leaves the glitter of Hollywood and ascends to the world stage while overcoming odds to become the 40th President of the United States. As someone who enjoys history and enjoys watching the way politics plays out, I was looking forward to this film. Now the question is, was it both informative and entertaining? First off, I got to say I enjoyed the second part of the film a lot more than the first part, and that's mainly because you got into the meat of the story as far as Ronald Reagan's mission against communism. I really enjoyed seeing the meetings with Gorbachev and how those played out. I also like the fact that there was this underlying threat, and you get this sense that at any moment we could go to war. And as somebody who enjoys following politics, I really enjoyed the political aspect of the film. Next, I want to point out that the last, we'll say 15 minutes really did a good job of getting an emotional response out of me. It's during those moments that I really felt emotion just kind of swelling up within me. And I need to point out that you need to stay through a portion of the credits because that's where a lot of the stuff happens. And well, the last little part of the film and into the end credits. So you want to stay through that. It was during those moments that I really felt patriotic and I enjoyed that part of the film a lot. Also, I think the film does a good job of capturing certain moments from the Reagan presidency and campaigns. For example, this little gem
is against such a proposal.
There you go again.
And there's several moments throughout the film where they actually capture some of those iconic moments, whether it be the assassination attempt on Reagan, or you see him give a certain speech, or there was a picture of Reagan and Nancy in the White House, and you see that actually come to life on screen. So I thought the film did a good job of bringing those moments to life. I have to say that the highlight of this film is easily Dennis Quaid's performance as Ronald Reagan. Now, when you go back and you watch interviews of Ronald Reagan or you watch speeches that he gave, he has this charisma and this sense of delivery and style. There's a reason why they called him the Great Communicator. And it's difficult to capture that. I've seen other people do impressions and they're good, but it's hard to capture that essence of Ronald Reagan. And I think Dennis Quaid, who's actually a very good actor, does a pretty good job of capturing that. Is it perfect? No, but this is probably as good as you're going to get to Ronald Reagan. Dennis Quaid really did a good job and hit it out of the park. Now, I do have several criticisms of the film. First off, there's some pacing issues. This is a 2-hour, 21-minute film, and it felt a lot longer to me because it dragged in certain portions. Now, there are parts I really enjoyed, but certain portions just really dragged for me. Also, I think this might have made a better streaming product as like a mini series because I think you would have been able to flesh out certain things a lot more. It almost feels like the movie is a snapshot of his life, or snapshots of his life, where you're seeing this moment and that moment. And because you're seeing all these different moments kind of thrown together, it doesn't really actually dive into them and get to flesh those things out. For example, the Iran-Contra scandal, it takes maybe 5 minutes of the film and you don't really get to know a whole lot about that. So if you're not really a history buff and you're not going to go read up on it, you're not going to really know anything about it from this movie. Also, I think that the movie might have been better if it had focused on one particular aspect, similar to the way that the Lincoln film did, where it focused on him and the passage of the 13th Amendment. I think that this movie might have been better served if it had focused on one particular aspect of his presidency, or maybe a couple of them. And if it had done that, maybe it would have been a little bit more focused and a little bit more fleshed out. Also, I think there are certain portions of the film where the way the dialogue is written and delivered, it actually takes you out of the film because it doesn't feel like actual people talk like this. So I did want to point that out. Also, this isn't something that bothered me, but it might bother other people, so I did want to put it out there. This is a very one-sided view of Ronald Reagan. It is a very pro view, and so if you're walking into the film expecting to see balance and see some of the good and some of the bad, you're not really going to get that. This is a very one-sided view. Again, this didn't bother me because there's so much negativity when it comes to politicians nowadays that it was nice to see something very positive, but I did want to put it out there because certain people might be expecting a more balanced view, and they're not going to get it. Bottom line, was it good? To be honest, I was a little disappointed in this. I found this to be an average film at best. Now, I really enjoyed certain aspects of it. Like, I liked Dennis Quaid's performance. I really liked the stuff with Gorbachev. And that last 15 minutes, like I said, really got an emotional response out of me. But it really dragged in other parts, and I really wanted to see things fleshed out that just weren't. Plus, the dialogue threw me off in certain parts. Now, I think people's enjoyment of this is really going to come down to what they thought of Reagan. If they liked Reagan to begin with, they're really going to like this movie. If they didn't like him, they're probably not going to like it. So I'm curious to see what the general audience is going to think about this. Now, if you're still watching this long, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.